Hi, welcome to today's pick a card reading. So last week I did a reading, which was what is their purpose in my life, okay? And it was a viewer request and it got a lot of responses. And one of the responses was from another viewer, Zara 86 asked, okay, how about why am I in their life? You know, what's my purpose in my person's life, right? And currently it has 26 upvotes, so I figured that that's at least, 27 people who want me to do this reading. And so given that there was another viewer request and so many people liked it, I decided to go ahead and put a rush on this one and put this up. And for those of you who want to view the other one, I'm going to put that in the description, okay? So yeah, we're talking about what's your purpose, what are the dynamics, that kind of stuff. We're hopefully we'll get some insight onto your relationship. And speaking of that, this isn't just limited to love, okay? This can be a coworker, a brother or sister, a parent-child relationship, a friendship. It could be anything, okay? It's just a lot of people, when they watch these, they tend to ask about the person that they're with or the person that they have feelings for. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that you don't have to ask about a love interest. You can ask about anybody in your life, okay? And this is what's your purpose in their life, okay? What you can teach them, what are your spiritual gifts that you can give to this person, and that kind of things, okay? So let me go ahead and tell you which pile's which. We've got the purple butterfly is number 1, the green butterfly is number 2, the red butterfly is number 3, the pink butterfly is number 4, and the blue butterfly is number 5, okay? And I have a lot of cards in this. I chose the exact same card decks for this as I did for the other reading, but obviously there's going to be different cards. So that said, while you guys are focusing on which pile works, which one calls to you and all of that kind of good stuff, I do want to say anything you need to know about me is in my description, and that includes contact information, anything that you might want to know about me, okay? And that said, let's go ahead and get started. Now, I do want to give a disclaimer, that I do read my cards intuitively, so if I feel led to explain, a dual meaning of a card, it's because I feel led to. It's not because I'm confused or anything, okay? Because this is a general reading, and sometimes I get that, for some of my viewers it means this, and for some of my viewers it means something else, okay? So I just want to kind of clear that up, because I had been asked that a couple of times, and okay, let's get started. All right, so we're gonna start with pile number 1, which is the purple butterfly, and we're gonna go ahead and move these out of the way because we've got a lot of cards. Okay. All right, so those of you who picked the purple butterfly, let's see what your purpose is in their life. Okay. All right, so we've got the builder. Okay. We have passage. Okay. We have a gift, and then we also have, we have the bouquet and the scythe, okay? We have honesty. How interesting, we have third party here, and numbing, okay? We have perseverance. We have shadow self, and we have truth and integrity. Okay, the first thing that pops out to me about these cards is that it seems like your purpose in this person's relationship is to help them to face a very harsh truth about reality. I mean, and I don't mean that it doesn't have to be a negative truth. It's just that it's something that they don't want to face, okay? So it could be something positive, it could be that they're completely in love with you and they need to be with you, right? But it's just something that's scary to them, or something that they kind of are blind to, or something that they just don't want to admit for whatever reason, okay? So let's go ahead and just just start with what we got at first, and let's kind of move from there. Okay, so we have the Prince of Gems, all right? So this is the equivalent to the Knight of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. He stands for the builder, okay? So you're there to help build this person up somehow. So I really feel like you're doing some work with this person where you're making them more aware. It might be somebody who's becoming more aware of their own purpose, or more aware of what they're capable of or their opportunities. Or it could be somebody who, like, you know, really needs to, you know, build something with you, and you're there to help. Okay. And then we have Passage. I think that that's interesting. And again, the Six of Wings is the same as the Six of Swords. And I think for some of you, this means that, you know, you're supposed to help them get away from some of the negative like circular logic they get into sometimes. I feel like there's a lot of negative self-talk here, and like with the builder, you've got them, you know, building them up and all of that kind of stuff. And I say that because the traditional card shows a boat with swords on it, and somebody's like leaving, right? And then in this one but we also have Passage there, and I don't want to ignore that either. I do think that this might be something where you have to travel to see them. This might be something where you guys need to travel together. There's some kind of opportunity that you have traveling together. And it could also mean that you're just kind of passing through, okay? And, you know, the other cards around here are going to give us some insight on, you know, which one that is. But I just want to go ahead and put that down, because these are the cards that are the most important in the reading. Okay, so next after that, I'm gonna look at the Lenormand. We've got Gift, and we have Scythe, okay? And it's really interesting because this is as double meaning as you can get, okay? The Scythe, it cuts away at something, but it also harvests. It also brings in something, okay? So it's kind of weird, and when you're looking at a Lenormand reading, you usually have a little bit more cards to go with, okay? But I do too, in these public readings. So I just want to mention that this could be like you know, your person's getting rid of an old gift and then taking a new gift in. Or it could be that, you know, you're a gift that this person needs to kind of reject so that they can learn to value that in their life. Or it could mean that you have something to offer them that's really important, and they want it all. They want to keep it with them, and you know, bring it as close to them as possible, and you know, when you've got the harvest and you bring it into your home, it's like you bring it into this really intimate space. And I really feel like that's really true for a lot of you. It just feels so strong. Like I can actually feel it. It's pretty amazing. So let's go ahead and look at these two cards, which seem to be related, right? We've got Truth and Integrity, and then we also have Honesty. So with Honesty, the key words here is truth, transparency, sincerity, and communication. Okay, so when you communicate with this person, make sure that you're being sincere. Don't ever, you know, say something that you think would just make them happy and that's it. You know, you've got to be honest. You know, that doesn't mean that you have to be brutally honest, but it's like you've got to be honest with this person. Okay, that's something that you bring to them that's really important. You also help them see their truth better by presenting your own truth, okay? So one thing that you do for them, and one purpose that you have in their life also, is to get them, you know, really looking at, you know, what's going on with them, and come to some kind of conclusion about that by communicating. It feels very much like a counselor-patient relationship, but I don't feel like that's, you know, I don't feel like that's going to be true for even, like, I mean, maybe 5 of you it will be, right? I feel like this is more like, you know, by being a friend, by being somebody who gives love to this relationship and is a positive force in this person's life, because this is a very positive feeling, you are able to really bring them up and really like help them see who they truly are and that kind of thing. It's really beautiful. It feels so good inside of me when I'm looking at this situation. However, part of that truth is that we've got to face the shadow self, okay? So I think that, you're not just telling them, you're not just saying all the good stuff. You're also helping them be aware of, some of the negative stuff that they need to either bring to the forefront so that they can really work on it so it doesn't have a chance of creeping up out of nowhere, right? Or it's something that they need to look at and then, kind of push away again, that kind of thing. So being able to see both the shadow with this card and the light with the truth cards lets me know that it's like you're the full spectrum for this person, okay? You definitely help them in so many different ways that it's like a full circle. It's kind of neat. Okay, and I feel like this is a counseling card. It's giving you it's giving you the impression you need to persevere in a situation if you feel like walking away from it or something like that. It's saying, keep doing it, keep doing it, because you're really doing a good job in this person's life. Now, I do want to say, if you're in an abusive situation of any kind, physical, sexual, mental, psychological, emotional, okay, any kind of abusive relationship, get out of it, okay? It's not worth it, okay? But I feel like for most of my viewers, this is a very loving relationship, a very positive relationship, and the perseverance, you're making headway with this person. You are helping them to be better people themselves. And I think that I really actually feel that for a lot of you, this is kind of a natural thing that you do for a lot of people anyway. So I think that this does kind of give a glimpse into, an aspect of your life purpose as well, is to help people see a situation truly, but without having to have all that negativity that's always associated. It seems like honesty and truth is always associated with this negativity. Would you, like, ignorance is bliss kind of thing? Well, how come the truth can't be bliss? It can be. Many people are shut away from their own beautiful truth, maybe because they grew up in a very dysfunctional family, or maybe because they were traumatized, or who knows, So here's another thing. We've got a third party, and also we have numbing. So I think that there's the third party, it doesn't have to be a person, okay? For some of you, it will be. But what I like about this card is it's like an edge, okay? It's the edge of a building. At least that's what I think it is. And it's like, there's a third element to your relationship. It's like you, the person, and something else. And that's like putting a wedge between the two of you. So it could be you, the person, and maybe they're depressed, and that's why they're having, like clinically depressed, and that's why they're having these problems, okay? And that's creating a wedge between the two of you. Or it could be you, this person, and maybe there's distance there, and the distance is putting a wedge between the two of you. This doesn't necessarily have to be a person, okay? So there is some kind of third party that's kind of interfering. I feel very strongly that that's going to go away, though. I don't feel like this is going to be going on forever. And I do want to say that if there is any kind of clinical depression or clinical element to this person's difficulties, that the best person that they can, get help from would be somebody who's licensed to provide that kind of help, okay? So I do want to mention that and, let you guys know that I'm not in any way diagnosing anybody or anything like that, okay? I'm not legally able to do that. And we also have numbing. So I really feel like you came into this person's life when they... It's such a dual feeling, because I have the numbing, like they didn't want to feel, and you're helping them feel, okay? But I also have the numbing, like they don't want to like give themselves, I'm sorry, I just gotta say it the way that I'm getting it, and it's kind of coming through in a weird way. They don't, it's like they don't want to give themselves credit. It's like they're blind to what they're able to do, right? So numbing is not just a sensation that's limited to touch when it comes to this card, or just limited to emotions. It's also like maybe numbing from thoughts, and maybe it's numbing like they can't see something, in a metaphorical way, that kind of thing. So I really feel like this energy is more like, this would be the negative in the situation. I don't actually feel like this has anything to do with you, either the numbing or the third party situation. It's just like a factor, and it needs to come up because in order for you to do this that you need to do with the truth and the honesty, and help build them back up, and really persevere, help them face their shadow self and come out okay, and be this gift to them with the bouquet that means gift, I feel like this is extra information for you to know, so that you can keep that in mind, that, if it hasn't dawned on you that even though there's not another person, for some of you, that this wedge between the two of you is something that you need to deal with too, then that would definitely be one reason why this would come up. And understanding just that they were totally numb before they met you, and that's kind of where they want to be. Sometimes I just really think that it's really important for you to also understand just how it's almost like isolated they were, and so you really, really brighten up their life. I mean, it's like you are such a positive force in this person's life that it's like impossible to describe just how great it is. So that said, keep that in mind and know that you're doing some great work here, okay? Alrighty. Okay, pile number 2, those of you who picked the green butterfly. So what's your purpose in your person's life? Let's see. We've got respect, a celebration. We have the letter and the fish. Okay. We have desires. Okay. We have conclusion and communication. All right. We have gratitude. We have intention. Oh my goodness. And we have soulmate. That's a lot of energy to work with here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of take a deep breath. And actually, I have water here. I'm going to take a drink of water, take a deep breath, and like really focus on this. Okay. So I don't think that for most of you, it's going to be a surprise that the two of you have a soul connection here. And when I say soul connection, I mean that there's some kind of like element of predestined intent to meet one another here on Earth. I know that different people are going to have different beliefs about what a soulmate means, okay? And I don't like to push my religion onto anybody, or, and I try to read for everybody's religion in the same way I am trying to read for everybody's personal situation. So the soulmate card means what it means to you, but to me, what that means is that you guys have a soul connection, you are drawn together, and even if you tried to get out of that relationship, it would be very, very, very difficult to sever that connection because it's just so strong. So keep that in mind, okay? Keep in mind that you guys are being drawn together by the universe, by God, by whatever, your karma, whatever you want to call it. It's you're being pushed together. There's an element of divinity here, okay? There's an element of something more, all right? So let's get back to this, okay? We've got respect and celebration, okay? So I think that what you do for this person is that by being respectful of them and by treating them right, they know that they're actually cared about. They're loved for who they truly are. You help them feel like it's okay to be themselves. And the celebration, I feel, is more like you celebrate this person and all of their facets and all of their you celebrate their growth, and you're also there when they're going through some tough times too. It just feels like your purpose in their life is to, like, not so much build them up, but just celebrate who they are, give them the ability to be themselves, and help them know that it's okay. It's okay to be themselves. They're the only ones that can be themselves, right? Nobody else can do that. So we've also got some communication through, excuse me, some communication through email, or text messages. It could be a literal letter, but I feel like for the most part, this is going to be communication through email. And the fish, it's usually stands for money, okay? But the thing about fish is they come in clusters, right? These are schooling fish here. So I feel like you bring abundance to their life, okay? Whether this is monetary abundance or just an abundance of joy, there's something that they get from you. It's almost like they're kind of addicted to it. It's like they want more and more of it, because it feels so good. But there is, some abundance here, and that's great. I mean, it really feels good. This could also mean an abundance of like text messages and emails and that kind of stuff too. I don't feel like that's the truth for you guys. I mean, I feel like it's more like both, okay? But yeah, and if you're wondering about communication, look for that in either email or text. I feel like this is like an electronic communication. Okay, but we've got this up here. We've got desires, okay? And we were talking about like they want more, that kind of thing. This is associated with the chakra that is associated with the sexual desires, okay? And also our wants, our wants and needs that way, So we have goals, passion, craving, and fulfillment, okay? So just know that by getting this card, this is also telling you, there is some sexual energy there. And if it's not sexual, it's like a very strong desire. It's a very strong, like pull towards you. I don't know why, but I'm thinking of that Bruce Springsteen song, I'm on Fire. It has a line about desire. And it's like, can you feel my desire? I think that's what it is. But yeah, it's like there's something that they really want from you, but it's not in like a sneaky way. It's more like they want more and more of you, okay? And of course, that can be sexual as well. And then we've got intentions. I think this is more a counseling card for you, now that you know some of this stuff, is, make sure that when you are helping them, and you're celebrating who they are and all of that kind of stuff, and you're giving them all this encouragement, and, you feel this soul connection, you feel this intuitively, and all of that kind of stuff, know that you've got to also keep in mind what your goals are. We even have goals written right here. Is your goal to lift this person up, or is your goal to lift this person up and to give them, the ability to lift themselves up too, So you got to keep that in mind too. That it could turn unhealthy if you are constantly celebrating them and then they never really kind of learn to do that for themselves. So kind of keep that in mind, but also keep in mind that you've got to make sure that when you're talking to this person, that you're very clear about how you feel, what you think, and all of that kind of stuff. It seems like in this connection, there's a lot of miscommunication that's a potential to happen, and that miscommunication can be cleared up so easily, as long as you say what you mean and then follow up on it with the behavior. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. Okay. So yeah, make sure that you set that intention and that you follow up with the behavior, okay? So we also have gratitude. So while we also have this kind of pull, like, ooh, I want more, they're also very thankful for what they have too, okay? They're very, very thankful for it. So you know, this gratitude card is coming up to let you know that they, you know, really appreciate that. Okay? I am so sorry for the sound that's coming out of the window. I have a word that I use that instructs my cameraman to do something about stuff like that, and I used it and he didn't notice. So I'm just gonna like stop right here and, hey, can you please close the window? There's like, okay. I am so sorry. It wasn't distracting me from this, but I just thought, you know, if I think my viewers are distracted, then that gets me distracted. So, yeah, I just needed that to be closed for you guys. Okay, so again, yeah, they're very grateful for what you have offered them, for what you can offer them, and all of that kind of stuff. You know, when I was talking about that unhealthy, you know, how it could get unhealthy, is just make sure that it doesn't become codependent, basically. You know, make sure that they still are able to be independent from you, okay? So we've got communications and conclusion. The communication is basically exactly what I was saying with the setting your intentions, you know, making sure that you're clear with your communication. I do feel like this is also letting those of you who are out of communication with this person know that there will be communication soon. And also that, you know, the communication could stand to be clearer, or that's a really strong suit for you. That's very that's like a gift that both of you can give to one another. You're really good at seeing eye to eye as long as things are being clear. So make sure that communication's open, okay? Because that's really important. I mean, it's weird because I see how there could be a lot of miscommunication just because it's a soul connection. And when we're in a soul connection, it's like we can say something that's not 100% true, and it's like the other person will feel that, and then they'll just feel like they're getting mixed messages, right? Or we can say something that is true, like, oh, I really like you. And then, you know, with our physical bodies, we can do something that doesn't support that. Like, you know, but I'm going to avoid you. I'm not going to send you messages, you know, all the time. I'm only going to get a hold of you once every 3 days, and, you know, whatever rules, you know, some people put on themselves to pace themselves. And that also sends a mixed message, okay, in soul connections. I've just noticed that. So you've just got to make sure that communication is clear and you're following through with it in all aspects, okay? And then we've got conclusion, and I think this is interesting because what really gets me about this is that there's like a key on this card. So I'm being told to read this a little bit differently than the way I might read it usually. I'm getting that there's something about you that helps open them up to their full potential. And I think that that's really important to this person to be able to be themselves and, you know, really embrace who they are, because then they're able to go forward and find more things that they can do and things like that. So I feel like this is just such a great connection, though. I mean, I know I was talking about the communication thing a lot, but this looks really good, okay? And yeah, I mean, this really looks great, okay? So you guys are good. This person's not going anywhere, okay? And if you're out of communication with this person, they're going to be getting a hold of you very soon, okay? All right. So those of you who picked the third pile, the red butterfly, let's go ahead and see. Okay, so we have courage and romance. Wow. That's nice. Okay, so we also have the messenger, or the rider, and the fox. Okay, we have insight. We have devotion. We have fear, though, here. We have freedom. We have union. And we have signs. Wow. Oh, so let me let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and like think about this a little bit, because I mean there's so many different places I could start, and I want to make sure that I start in a place that's good here. Okay. Where I'm going to start is with these 4 cards, okay? So we have romance and devotion, okay? I hope that it's obvious to you what that means, okay? This would be the same kind of energy, all right? The Two of Shells. You know, this is like major, this is like a major love, a major coupling, that kind of thing, okay? And you're both very devoted to one another. You're very loyal, okay? But we also have courage and fear, which is, you know, they're kind of a matching pair. I feel like this relationship can kind of swing back and forth, you know? I don't feel like it's so much that it's an on again, off again situation, like, you know, multiple times. I feel like it's more like you guys feel the full range of emotions when you're around one another. And that is where the like stuff like freedom comes in. But at the same time, even though you can feel this full range of emotions, you know that you're a thing. You know that you're still together. Okay? You know that you're in union with one another, okay? So that's kind of an interesting thing that's going on here. And I also feel like, you know, with this insight card, I feel like there is definitely, you know, some kind of vision for the future for the two of you. So you have a future together. You have, you know, you're going to stay with this person for a while. Okay. This person's going to be in your life. So fear and courage, you know, you can't be courageous if you're not afraid of something, right? You can't be brave if you're not afraid. That's, you know, when you're brave, it's because you're afraid and you can overcome that. So I think that one thing that this, you know, one purpose that you have in this person's life is to help them reach a point where they're not so afraid. I mean, and I feel really emotional thinking about this because, like, I feel a very profound fear, like a very vulnerable fear. And it's like you're really helping them, you know, confront that. And it's a big deal. It's a really big deal to them. So yeah, I mean, you're really, really changing them, like on a very core level, like very, very core. Like this fear here is like instinctual for the person. It's not like it interferes with their ability to function day to day or anything like that. It's more like they've been afraid for so long that they don't know how to not be afraid, and it's almost like they don't even think they're afraid. And by kind of pushing them a little bit, by probing a little bit, and that kind of thing, you're giving them, you know, a reason to be courageous, and it's really, really beautiful. Also, I feel like this is a romantic connection, okay? If it's not, you guys are very, very good friends, okay? You know, because it really feels romantic to me, okay? There's a lot of that stuff going on. So if you guys are trying to be friends and you kind of feel this kind of urge to be with them and maybe it's not appropriate for whatever reason or anything like that, just know that this is on both sides. And that, you know, you've got, obviously you have to make your own decisions, but it really feels like this is supposed to be a romantic relationship, okay? So do with that what you will. I want to talk now about this messenger and the fox and insight, okay? So this messenger talks more about messages like from like in person or like if you're gonna use a phone to do this, it would be like voice messaging or maybe it's video messaging, for example. So this is like, you know, more personal than like a text message or an email, right? But we also have like this kind of cleverness going on here. And I feel like you're able to really call this person out on some of the ways that they, you know, are trying to kind of twist a situation around a little bit. I don't feel like it's like pure evil deception or anything. I just feel like they try to be clever and you call them out on it. That's good. That's awesome. So what we have this messenger calling out the fox and saying, you know, hey, I come on, I know you're not like that, you know, or whatever. I do that with a lot of my friends, most of them actually, you know, and they all love me for it. Maybe it's because of the way I do it, because I say that out loud and it's like, oh my gosh, why would you do that? But yeah, and you know, this is making them more self-aware. We've got self-evaluation, awakening, and understanding. I mean, this is a really powerful connection, guys. You know, you're helping them wake up to who they are, and you're helping them evaluate, like when you do self-evaluation, you're not just looking at your character or your personality, you're also looking at your beliefs. And you know, and again, like this fear being so profound, it just feels like you are changing them in such a way that they're able to really, you know, be fully who they are. And I don't feel like they've ever been fully who they are. Maybe like when in early childhood, but I don't feel like they've ever really been able to feel comfortable being who they are. So it's a really beautiful feeling here. So we've got union. So again, with this romance and devotion and union here, I do feel like there's you know, this kind of destiny between the two of you. Like you're supposed to be together in a love relationship. Okay, so keep that in mind. And speaking of destiny, we also have signs. Okay, if you're ever feeling like this person maybe doesn't like you, or anything negative about this person, make a list of all of the ridiculous synchronicities that have happened, you know, the coincidences, you know, the weird stuff that happens between the two of you, because you will be able to look at that at any time and know, okay, this person's, you know, they're supposed to be in my life, that kind of thing. So it's like you have a purpose in their life, but they also have a very, very strong purpose in your life as well, okay? Because I feel like this is really, you know, between both of you. You know, we've got the romance and devotion. It feels like it's both of you, you know, both of you have this energy here. So I do feel like there's some kind of, I feel like this is kind of like a mirror between the two of you, right? And then we also have freedom, okay? And I think that that's a really interesting card to go along with all of this energy, because I think that it's also really, I think that for most of you guys, this is going to just give you that validation that, you know, yes, let them be who they are, you know, that's who they are, and you know, allow that to be expressed. And then for some of you, I think that this is kind of a reminder, like kind of like a counseling card that comes out that's like, remember that you guys are your own people too. And that, you know, even though you guys are, you know, really strongly connected and all of that kind of stuff, this union here, even though you're not, you know, you get enmeshed when you get a connection like this, and it can be sometimes hard to tell where you end and the other person begins. So I think that this is kind of like a caution or a counseling card to remind you guys that as you're doing all of this work with this person, that you also have to remember that you're your own self, and you have to nurture your own self as well, okay? So make sure that you're not giving up any of your free will, you know, make sure that you're pursuing your own interests and that kind of thing, because, you know, that can get a little confusing sometimes when we get into relationships that are, you know, like this, you know. So keep that in mind. But I mean, this is great. I'd be very happy to have a relationship like this with anybody. I mean, it feels so just very, very profound and deep, you know. You do a lot for that person. Okay, so those of you who picked the fourth pile, we brought a leaf with us. The pink butterfly, here's your reading. Okay, so we have the Hanged Man. He comes with attitude. And we do have the Three of Wings. We've got sorrow. We have the Mountain in the book. We have guidance. Excuse me. We have release and mute. Okay. We have love. We have awakening. And we have power. Okay. You have a lot of power over this person. Okay. You can make them feel so many different things. So I feel like this person's been through something really bad with, you know, in their past. Or maybe they've been hurt by you. I think for some of you, they've been hurt by you, but I'm getting more like this is something from their past. They've been very, very hurt. And because of that, they view a relationship a little bit differently than they normally would, okay? So there's something about your relationship that's like this person is blocking. And we've got the Mountain, which is usually an obstacle or a block. And we also have the Book, which lets me know that there's some kind of hidden thing, or there's more knowledge to this, okay? But let's go ahead and talk about what your purpose is, okay? Because that's a question. Your purpose isn't to bring this person sorrow. Your purpose is to help them get over their sorrow. Your purpose is to help them see through it. And not just see through it, but also go through it as well, so that they can come out on the other side fully healed. And to celebrate who they are, however that manifests for them, okay? Because, when we've got the Hanged Man, we've got somebody who is just doesn't go with most of society, okay? We've got somebody who's kind of eccentric, or somebody who really questions a lot about like what people do and that kind of thing, They might do it like in a joking way, like, gosh, why do people do this? It's such a weird thing to do, something like that. But it just feels like a situation where you guys are, like there's like some quirks there, and that's endearing for both of you, okay? But yeah, let's talk about this power. You have a lot of power in their life, and you can offer them guidance, okay? This is support, love, signs, and direction. It's very beautiful imagery. It's like you're that star, you're that guiding star, okay? And then we have awakening, like you're really waking them up to the truth in this situation, that sorrow is just one element of life. You don't have to always be sad. You don't have to always be, just because something negative happened at one point in time, that doesn't mean that that's going to define every single experience one has. And I think that that's really important, like really important and needed for this person, okay? And because you have the ability to wake them up to that, because you have the ability to show them that and teach them that, you have a lot of power in their life, okay? And then we also have love, okay? I think that this is both talking about the nature of your relationship, as well as talking about what's really healing this situation, and that's like, so this is kind of like a counseling card, like bring more love into this, be, unconditional loving and that kind of stuff. And then it's also letting me know that for most of you, this is a love relationship, okay? Or to know that this person does love you in the capacity that they can at this point, okay? And they've always loved you, but in their own way, okay? I am being told that I need to go back to the Hanged Man and also mention that this person might have like a mental illness that they can't help, and that might make you question whether or not they care about you. Understand that if this does apply to you, that this person's mental illness is not them. That's not who they are. That is a chemical imbalance that they cannot help at all. So, and that doesn't excuse anything that they might have done that is negative. It's just to explain that a person can be mentally ill and do some really horrible things, or do some things that don't seem like they care about somebody, and still love that person. It's really, really hard to explain how, but it's possible. I just want to put that out there. It's possible, okay? So for those people that's what the message is, keep that in mind, okay? Your purpose, though, is to bring as much love and understanding to the situation as possible, to help guide them, to help wake them up, again, to help them understand that things don't have to be, you don't have to be sad all the time, that there's still good, in the world for this person. This person might have experienced a death very close to when you came into their life, or they might experience a death in the future, and that might be something else that you're going to help them through. I'm just getting that as well. But yeah, and it's like you're also, this can mean two things, okay? And so I do want to mention that I'm being told that it's like both of them can apply, one for some people and one for others, okay? So I think that part of it is like, helping them to get over an obstacle in their life, okay? And I feel like the obstacle's connected to this sorrow, okay? And I think that for others, you know, there's like a block between the two of you where you're supposed to get some new information, and that will happen. That block's gonna go away because we have guidance and awakening and love here. But it is letting me know that for some of you there's some kind of hidden information that's gonna come to light, okay? For the rest of you, I think that this is like helping them getting over this obstacle by educating them about the nature of their experience. Okay, we also have release and we have mute. Okay, so I read this in context of the other cards and based on what I'm getting intuitively. Okay, I feel like the release here, your purpose in their life is help them to release this sorrow, or when they go through negative times, to help them process through it and release it. Okay, you help that processing be easier for this person. That doesn't mean that they can't do it on their own. It's just that you help it be a lot easier. And then with the mute card, what I'm getting with that is like, even when you're not talking, or even when you're like maybe in the same room but you're not talking to one another, like even just by being there or just existing, you're helping this person. Okay, so this is a very strong connection there where, you know, you guys, you know, have this love between the two of you, that channel's open, and through that you have a lot of power to help, you know, help this person release the sorrow, or help this person to see that the world, you know, isn't maybe the way that they thought it was, in a kind of like maybe a more negative way, that kind of thing. All right, guys, I do have to say that this feels, I mean, I feel very, very emotional doing this. So I do feel like whatever it is that this person has is very profound. Okay. So yeah, keep that in mind. Yeah. Okay, pile 5. Those of you who picked the blue butterfly, let's see what your person, you know, your purpose in your person's life. Wow, okay, so you have the Justice card. The key word for this is truth. And you have anxiety, okay? And let's go ahead and see. Okay. You have the lilies and the moon, okay? We have relationships. We have commitments here. We have barriers. We have doubt. We have wisdom. Oh my goodness. And romance. All right, guys. I just gotta kind of take a minute here, okay? Because there's a lot going on here. I'm gonna take a sip from my water. Okay. So that's just my chair. I was moving it. I don't know why it's so squeaky. So when I pick the cards for this reading, these were supposed to be like the main cards to focus on. So I want to make sure that you guys know that the strongest cards in this reading is going to be these. But I feel like I need to address this first, okay? So with the lilies, we have sexual energy, we have sexuality, we have a sexual attraction, that kind of thing. And with the moon, we have that's kind of trying to be hidden, that's kind of trying to be covered up a little bit. So this person might be struggling with having sexual feelings for you, or they might like have sexual feelings for you and express those and everything and then feel guilty about it later for some reason. It feels like, and it feels like it's not because there's anything wrong with that, but it's like there's a timing issue. Like it's not the right time, you know, and all of that. So kind of, I mean, really keep this in mind because I really feel like this is more like, oh, you know, you're gonna do this reading, so let me, you know, so some of these cards are, you know, aren't gonna say anything about the reading, is just gonna say about the relationship itself, because I feel like this is separate from the rest of the reading, because, you know, the question is, what is my purpose in their life? Okay, and this doesn't really answer that, but I do want to mention that I feel like this is more just, you know, for your information, you know, this person does feel very sexual towards you. Okay, so let me get back to this. We have justice and we have anxiety, okay? The 5 of gems, this would be the equivalent of the 5 of coins for those of you who want to kind of match that up. So we have truth and anxiety, and I really feel like the justice card is also about making it more fair. It's like there was something in this person's life that wasn't fair, and you make things more fair. You like even the playing field for this person. So I think that you give this person more opportunities, but I also feel like you get them facing some things that also makes them feel very afraid. You know, like if they feel sexual feelings for you, and let's say it's forbidden, for example, or let's say it's not appropriate for whatever reason, that anxiety, you know, it's like you're supposed to wake them up to that anxiety, though. You know, it's like not all anxiety is negative and not all of it is clinical, right? And this is just the best card to represent that this person, you know, they get nervous around you, okay? But you're supposed to make them nervous, because by making them nervous, you are causing them to doubt some of their old beliefs that aren't serving them anymore, okay? And I really feel like the beliefs have to do with relationships. I want to go ahead and read the words associated with this. We've got intimacy, freedom, acceptance, and trust, okay? So with relationships, you know, going on here, I feel like what you're doing is you're casting like some light onto some of their beliefs about relationships that, you know, it's causing them some anxiety, is causing them to kind of doubt maybe what they originally thought about that. And, you know, that does kind of have to do with, you know, trying to come to terms with maybe a sexual interest or feeling sexual towards you, that kind of thing, okay? Another reason that you're in this person's life, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic situation, but you do bring romance, that magic to their life, okay? I feel for most of you that this is going to be a romantic relationship, but for those of you who this isn't, I'm talking about like poetry. I'm talking about like art and beauty and meaning and that kind of thing. Like you help their world seem more alive, you know, that kind of thing. You also are helping them process information into wisdom, you know, because you have the truth here. We've got the information, we know this is true, but how can we use this truth, you know? Because some people know a lot of stuff, but they don't necessarily use it in a way that, you know, shows that they're wise. You know, they might not make the wisest choices, but you're also helping them not only become more aware of you know, their need to kind of question their beliefs here, but you're also helping them take that information and turn it into wisdom as well, okay? Part of this is because you have a lot of wisdom yourself. You've been through a lot, okay? And part of it is that you just kind of open that up for them, okay? So we've got commitment and barriers. So I really feel like something about this relationship is like, you know, we've got this barrier here, so it might be some kind of forbidden thing that we're talking about right here. Okay, so I feel like this does have more to do with the nature of the connection rather than your purpose so much. But with the barriers card, you know, there's some cards in this particular deck that let me know that, you know, there's a major block there, okay? What I like about the barriers card is that there's a door, okay? That means that you can move past whatever obstacles that you have in your way right now, okay? Or maybe you have already moved past those boundaries, and it's just letting you know that you were able to really break through for them, you know? And I really feel like that's a really important aspect of this whole thing. And also, you're teaching them, you know, what a healthy relationship looks like. I just have to say, you know, we're talking about the purpose of you in their life, okay? So let me go ahead and just summarize that. Your purpose is to help them question their beliefs, you know, and come to some new beliefs that are more true, and become a wiser person because of that. You help them. You know, you help them kind of doubt some maybe outdated or negative views about relationships, or something that's just not serving them, some kind of, you know, belief about relationships that's just not, maybe their belief is true for some people, but it's not true for them anymore, or something like that. But we also have a lot of information about the nature of this relationship. We've got relationships, we've got romance, we've got this kind of sexual energy, and we have commitment. So I do feel like you guys, whether you want it or not, you're getting some extra information here that's letting you know that this is, there's some romantic feelings, there is some sexual tension going on, and that if you wanted to turn this into a romantic relationship and it's not already, that you definitely have that ability. You guys can become very, very committed. But I think that that's another thing, that you help them see. It's such a strange thing, because I don't feel like it's like you help them see the importance of commitment. It's more like you help them see the nature of commitment. And I don't understand why that differentiation is so important, but it's just, that's the way it's coming out. So you help them see, you help them see, the meaning of commitment, rather than like the nature of commitment, that kind of thing, rather than necessarily commitment specifically. So that's your reason for being in their life, okay? All right, guys. So, as always, I am very happy that you guys stayed till the end. Thank you. I really appreciate all the support that you guys show me. The comments, the subscriptions, everything like that is amazing. I am so looking forward to the 10,000 mark, which is definitely going to happen this week. I just feel it. And I'm just so grateful, because, a lot of people leave comments thanking me and saying, thanks for what you do, and all of that kind of stuff. And I just really want to say that it's a mutual, thank you guys for letting me know that I'm doing a good job, and letting me know that what I have to offer you guys is valuable. And, you don't have to, but if you want, it really helps me to get feedback. So if you want to leave a comment, or anything like that, go ahead. That's great. And, I want to mention that some people don't want to leave public comments. If you don't want to leave a public comment, that's fine. Just go ahead and send me an email. My email address is in the description, okay? So, well, my communications guy has access to emails as well, but he only reads certain ones anyway. So it's mostly me responding back, So I do want to mention that, but communications guy is totally fine. He's my best friend. You don't have to worry about that guy. So with that said, I will see you at the next pick a card reading.